Hi, Jim Hoffman here from EMS Office Hours, and this is your Monday Minutes. The next few Monday Minutes, I've kind of set up and allocated some specific content that I want to put out there, and basically it's going to be talking about passing and preparing for the National Registry Exam. Now, I've got a lot of material on the websites over at EMS Bootcamp and at emsseo.com to try to help you prepare. But I'm going to kind of drill down a little bit and give you some pretty generic information, but I also think to kind of maybe point out some key points that maybe you might overlook when you're studying for the National Registry Exam. Now, the first thing in this session, this is part one of preparing for the NREMT exam, and this is going to be about study time. It's important to try to give yourself plenty of time beforehand to study. The National Registry Exam is not really the type of exam you want to start trying to go ahead and try to cram for at the last minute. A good idea is to go ahead and create a schedule and try to develop a routine of studying for the National Registry Exam. And try to allocate and give yourself time at the beginning of every study session and when you're most alert. And this way you can go ahead and focus on areas that you're having a lot of problems with. Now, one good idea to do is to try to go ahead and study in the evening any stuff that you've learned during the day, any content that you've learned in your daytime EMT class. Now, if you have it going to a nighttime medic class, a nighttime EMT class, try to go ahead and review the information you learned the next morning as soon as possible when you wake up. Another thing that I suggest too is to try to break your sessions down to 30-minute sessions. Studies have shown that the first 30 minutes of your studying is what you wind up retaining the most of and what you might wind up remembering the most of. So we talked a little bit about that over at the EMS Bootcamp exam session. Go ahead and study for 30 minutes, a good solid 30 minutes of study time. Take a 10-15 minute break and then go back for another 30 minutes and repeat that as often as you feel necessary to go ahead and review for your schedule that you set up for studying for the NREMT. Now, another thing to do is think about study sheets. These can be kind of a really helpful tool that you can use and you can kind of make up while you're reviewing. And what you can do is, when you're doing this, is reviewing and summarizing and outlining the material that you've learned that you can use later on as a review sheet. So what this actually does, it winds up providing you with a fast overview of the NREMT content for review at that later time. And what it also, by actually outlining and rewriting, the content that you're learning and the content that you're having difficulty with and you're trying to review, that actually reinforces what you've learned. Rewriting and writing it in your own words really does reinforce all the concepts and all the information that you're taking in for studying. So just keep that in mind. Another thing is flashcards. They actually can do a pretty good job, especially when you're doing stuff like memorization. When you have to memorize stuff like terminology or simple concepts like drug actions or indications and dosages, EKG, flashcards, all that stuff. Great stuff to do. You can get iPod apps for this and Droid apps for this as well. And actually, using flashcards, even by writing them down, again, you go back to that study sheet where you reinforce the information. And it's really going to wind up improving your NREMT study time. Because what you do is when you're writing it down, again, you're reinforcing it, but you also could take those with you, and make the most of downtime that you have, while you're studying, like when you're traveling or during lunch, stuff like that. You can whip them out and go ahead and do some flashcard studying, and making most of all of your time to get really concrete study time and really good content memorization for what you need to do for the NREMT. So just remember, when you're creating the study cards, try to place them into groups. This way, at least when you do have them in your pocket or in your bag or whatever, you can actually grab them for a quick kind of grab and go review. Last for this part one is audio reviews. If you know me, you know my websites, I'm very big on audio and video study. I think it really does reinforce a lot of the content that we have to learn and memorize and be familiar with and build our knowledge base in EMS. Stuff that you can get, audio review study guide that you can use like with an MP3 or an iPod, or playing your CD in your car, or even on your computer. These are excellent ways to go ahead and study. Now, that repetition of all the stuff you're learning, the concept, the theories, can actually strengthen what you've learned in class and really review from your notes and any guides that you're using. To me, audio reviews are really an exceptional study source for a lot of different occasions, especially when you can take them with you and study for your any exam, not just national registry, but you can study anywhere, like in your car, working out, and jogging. So those are all great things. I'm going to put two links below. One is for a brand new product that we are promoting at EMS SEO, and it's a total package of NREMT study audios, pretty much 8 hours of study. And also another good product, another good idea is the EMS Exam Bootcamp that I did with Greg Fries and from Everyday EMS Tips, and that is a great EMS bootcamp we did. It's all about taking exams and getting the whole exam breakdown and all that. So great stuff to go ahead and check that out. Check those two links out, and I think that between that and some of these Monday minutes, you're going to be ready for that NREMT exam in no time. So I hope you can use some of these Monday minutes in your study and exam preparation, and maybe it can help you out in your career long term when it comes to taking any exam. If you have some minutes of your own, be sure to comment below. Send me your thoughts to jhoffman@ems-safety.com. As always, until next Monday, this is Jim Hoffman from EMS Office Hours. Stay safe.